report. Our man in Hollywood, Jim Brown, is our man in England this week with a series on the 2 James Bond movies being readied for summer release. In part 1, he talked to Sean Connery and Roger Moore about their Bond roles. This morning, Jim talks to the original 007.
Sean Connery had mixed other films in with his character of James Bond during the 007 years, but after disposing of villain Ernst Stavro Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever in 1971, Connery set out for a full-time pursuit of other film projects. In the decade that followed Diamonds, he starred in such diverse movies as Zardos, Murder on the Orient Express, The Wind and the Lion, The Great Train Robbery, Time Bandits, Outland, and his current release, 5 Days, One Summer.
That's what I came for.
The reviews on 5 Days, One Summer have been a little mixed. You have received favorable notice. Many people find the film a little slow.
I never expected 5 Days, One Summer to be a blockbuster or a commercial success. I don't think that's the nature of the picture. The subject matter, 1930, and talking about the mores of that period, morals of that time, make it quite difficult. I mean, the very opening, the idea of going off to holiday with a girlfriend, whatever your blood relationship is, you had to take a car, and then you took a train, and then you took a boat, and then you took another train, and then you took a horse cart to get to the place. Well, you could certainly cover your spurs. Well, today you just jump on one of these junkets and you're there. But and the media being what it is, everybody knows.
I can't get over the fact, sitting here looking at you, and this image that you have for the Bond film, and the image of 5 Days, One Summer, which is so different. Which is closer, and I don't mean in the character, but just visually, which is closer to Sean Connery?
Well, I don't. Well, I think that you use as much as possible of yourself in both. I mean, it's certainly more external additions in the Bond film, in terms of hair and makeup and detail in that sense, than, say, in 5 Days. In fact, I don't think I used makeup for a lot of the scenes at all in the film, except for graying what's left, rather whiting it a bit, because it already is gray.
I was reading somewhere, and I hope it's correct because it's a delightful story, that you had actually tried out your singing voice as the possibility of playing Daddy Warbucks in the Annie film. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
How serious was that?
Oh, it was very serious. I had Ray Stark, and who produced the film, and my agent had conferred and then come up with the idea for me to play it. So I went to New York, through New York, going to Los Angeles, saw the production, and liked the idea of doing it, but I wasn't convinced that I could sing the numbers as well as they're written. So I went to Los Angeles, and I took singing lessons for about, well, a month, I think, 3 weeks, a couple of times a week, and then it got a bit pressured because Ray, who can become very insistent, wanted a definite commitment at the time, and I wouldn't. And something like that, it takes quite a bit of bottle, I think. Although I started in South Pacific, it's when you're in the chorus, there's so many others to put the blame on, you know, but you get up there singing solo numbers, and unless you can do it well, there's not much point touching it.
Oh, she is my dear, my darling one, her eyes so sparkling full of fun. No other can match the likes of her. She is my dear, my darling one, my smiling and beguiling one. I love the ground she walks upon, my darling Irish girl.
No, James Bond is not trying to seduce one of 007's heroines by singing. This is Sean Connery a few film years before he became the screen incarnation of Ian Fleming's suave secret agent. This film is Darby O'Gill and the Little People. And the archivists at Walt Disney, who produced the film, say it is actually Connery doing the singing.
I suppose it is.
Sean Connery was 28 years old when he made this film. He is now 52, firmly established by the original Bond films as a superstar, and now back playing 007, as he stated earlier in the series, for the last time. In our conversations at Luton Hoo, north of London, where Never Say Never Again was on location, Connery talked about the art of making movies.
I read Chariots of Fire, and I thought it's one of the few scripts that ever made me cry. I said, oh, it'll win, it should win everything, you know, without doubt. I thought it was absolutely, it's all the ingredients of what I like about the best of the cinema.
What does it say to you as an actor when a film such as Chariots of Fire becomes a success, and a film such as E.T., with the message that it has, the following year is a tremendous success? What does that say about what audiences are looking for these days?
Well, I think it's a great trap for people who make movies to be making them for what audiences are looking for, because that's what all these surveys do. And that's why there's so many duff ones we produce. I think it's the kind of reflection of it is quite healthy, and that they're looking for the enjoyment you get from doing something that you all think is terrific. And that's the appealing factor of making films for me. And hopefully when you get the right script and the right group, you make that kind of picture.
Isn't your 19-year-old son now pursuing an acting career?
Yes, that's right, Jason.
What kind of advice did you give him about success and failure as an actor?
Well, he had his bouts of being upset and a bit depressed, wondering why he wasn't doing anything and whatever, and I told him, you know, that was okay because it would get much worse, you know, and it will get worse.
What about any advice to him about those who might say, well, yes, you're here because you're Sean Connery's son, trading on the name?
Well, that's another thing that he had to make a choice about, whether he changed his name or not. But, I mean, that wouldn't have been too smart either, I don't think, because if he changed it after the first couple of things, they know who he is, and they'll make a feature of the fact that he tries to change his name. He's been misquoted enough he's been interviewed in different papers and things, and he's had his fingers burned a couple of times. The only thing I hope he listens to me is about the situation concerning contracts lawyers. I think that is the grievous area.
While Sean Connery was acting out his treatment of James Bond here at Luton, 30 miles away at the Pinewood Studios in London, Roger Moore was giving James Bond his treatment. That part of our report beginning tomorrow. For today, Jim Brown, NBC News, Luton, England.